Hi everyone, it's Vesper. Long time no see, kinda sorta. Sorry about that. A lot has happened lately that I want to update you guys on. And yeah, I have a lot to say, which is why it's going to be a real challenge to try and keep this video short, but that's what I'm going to try to do. I am going to take what I would usually pack into a single long video and try to separate it into 3 different shorter videos that I'm going to release throughout the month of December. So yeah, this is the first video of 3. This video is going to be about how I've gotten to this point that I'm at now in terms of being about to start HRT, testosterone specifically, in Japan. For those of you who have been watching my videos, this is me announcing that I am going to start HRT soon. And yeah, I'm excited and a million different things about that. And by soon, I mean probably January, so in about a month and a half time. But anyways, it's been a long road getting to this point, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about how I got here and what it's like trying to get HRT in Japan and my first appointment, or an appointment, to get diagnosed in order to pursue HRT in Japan. The next video, which I hope to put out next weekend, a week from this video, fingers crossed, is going to be about how I feel finally getting to start testosterone, because I've been thinking about this for forever. There are a lot of feelings involved. Talk about my fears, talk about my goals in pursuing HRT. So yeah, look for that video in about a week's time. The third video is going to be about, or at least I intend for it to be about, fingers crossed, about coming out to my superiors at work, because I very apprehensively intend to come out to my supervisors at work relatively soon. Going to talk about how that went, if I do in fact do it. If I don't, then I'll choose a different topic to talk about. But look for that video in about 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks from now, maybe. That's the plan. 3 videos? Let's start the first one. Those of you who have watched my older videos or who follow me on Tumblr might know that I've lived in Japan for 7 years, and I've been whining and moaning about not transitioning in Japan since, I guess, 2014. Yeah, I made a video specifically about not transitioning in Japan in 2014. It's now 2017. Time flies. I've had and still have a lot of reasons not to transition, and I use quotes for transition because I don't use that word for myself personally, but a lot of reasons not to transition in Japan, and it's not like those reasons have suddenly disappeared now. I still very much have those same reasons now. That has not changed. It's just that I finally was at my wits' ends and just threw my arms up in the air and was like, what the fuck ever, literally. And so I've decided to just go for it. I first started thinking about this stuff when I was 28, 27, 28, around there, and I'm 32 now. I'm not getting any fucking younger. My life is going by and I have plans that I can't do until I feel like I've pursued these things. So I'm at a point where I'm just ready to take risks because I have to. To give you a very, very basic picture of what it's like for someone who's trying to transition in Japan, especially for someone who's a Japanese citizen, more so for someone who's a Japanese citizen. In Japan, being trans is still considered to be a disorder. More specifically, it's Seido Itsusei Shogai, which is gender identity disorder, often shortened to GID. You have to be diagnosed with this disorder to get anywhere in the Japanese medical system, and to get officially diagnosed with this disorder, you have to go through 6 months of counseling sessions with a specialist in GID. And sometimes you also have to get a second opinion from another specialist in GID. And after that, then your case file is submitted, presented before a board of ethics, who then debate and argue amongst themselves if you really have this disorder or not. After all of that, then you may or may not be officially diagnosed as having GID. And then you can take that official document to a clinic who handles hormones, hormone replacement therapy, depending on the hormones that you're specifically in need of. So you have to jump through a lot of different hoops, and that's only for HRT. If you want to pursue other things like surgeries and stuff, name changes, sex marker change, you have to jump through a whole nother set of hoops after these set of hoops. So yeah, it's fucking complicated. Japan is fucked up. And I also want to throw out there that GID only recognizes recognizes officially as far as most doctors are concerned. People who were assigned male at birth who want to transition to be female, or people who were assigned female at birth who want to transition to be male. You have to fit into one of two specific categories. Non-binary people, or in Japanese, ex-gender people, are not officially recognized and not officially diagnosable without you lying. So, given how difficult it is to access HRT in Japan, it should come to a surprise to no one that there are alternative ways of getting hormones. Some of which aren't illegal, but aren't exactly official either, and some of them which are just flat out illegal. Over the past 4 years, I've tried to keep my eyes and ears open to try and gather as much information as I could so that I could eventually try to navigate this fucked up system or beat it or dodge it entirely. So at this point, I already had a lot of information. I already knew where I should probably go if I had any chance of getting HRT in this country. I'm just acting on all of this information that I spent years gathering. 3 weeks ago, I emailed one of 2 clinics that I knew were my best chance at getting diagnosed with GID without having to jump through fucking 6+ a year's worth of hoops and without having to lie about being FTM when I'm not. The first clinic didn't respond to any of my emails, so finally last weekend I just decided to call them. They said that they could do same-day diagnosis and give me a certificate, and that they do actually do HRT in-house. I could go through them to do it, but, and this is the big but, they said that they cannot diagnose someone who is ex-gender or non-binary. And by couldn't, they really just meant they wouldn't, of course. They could do it, but they refused to. However, they did suggest that I call a different clinic, and that clinic that they suggested was actually the second clinic on my list of clinics to try and check out anyways, so I was gonna call them regardless, so I just called them on the spot. The second clinic confirmed that they can do same-day diagnosis, that they do diagnose ex-gender or non-binary people, so yeah, that was awesome. I made an appointment for the Monday, 2 days later. I was asked to bring my insurance card with me because although insurance will not cover any actual treatment of the disorder, it will cover the diagnostic process and any therapy, counseling, etc. I was also asked to bring a jibunshi, which is a personal history, is what it roughly translates into, but we don't really have this in America, I don't think. You writing out your history with gender-related stuff. Actually, they did not tell me what to include in this jibunshi, so I didn't know I was specifically supposed to say gender-related stuff. Instead, since I was told it meant personal history, I wrote out a lot of stuff that they probably didn't want to know, but within that was the gender stuff, so whatever. When I showed up for the appointment and sat down with the psychologist, let's just say that things got really interesting, especially for me personally as a non-binary asexual person. I could recount to you the entirety of the 30-something minute appointment, but in the interest of keeping things short, I'm just gonna give you the highlights of it, I guess. But if you are interested in a more detailed recountment of what happened, maybe check Tumblr. I'm thinking about putting a more detailed text write-up of what happened on Tumblr after I post this video, so maybe check the description of this video or just go to my Tumblr and search for non-binary in Japan. I'll put the hashtag on here. Anyways, highlights. Yes, let's keep this short. So he was looking at my jibunshi, or my personal history document, and it ended up being like 7 pages, a timeline, very condensed timeline, obviously, of my life story, basically. Yes, I know I overshared a lot. But anyways, he was looking at it and he asked me to point to a specific point in time when I knew I wasn't a girl. And for me, it doesn't work like that. It was never so cut and dry or whatever. And so then he was like, okay, so have you felt that you weren't a girl? Did you know that you weren't a girl from a very young age? You know, typical trans narrative that is true for some people, but not everyone, but you know, Japan stereotypes. I ended up responding with, I have never, even when I was young, really identified within myself as a girl. I accepted that other people labeled me that way, and I knew that I wasn't a boy, so if I'm not a boy, there was nothing else, so I defaulted defaulted to letting people identify me as a girl, and I didn't fight it because what else was there, as far as I knew back then. And he summarized that in his notes very briefly as, has been dysphoric entire life. I'm 32 years old. 32 years of dysphoria. That's what he wrote. 32 years of dysphoria. Okay, if you want to put it like that, whatever. He asked me if I wanted to do anything to my body, and it was pretty obvious that he had certain expectations behind that question, but you know, all I can do is answer it. Told him that I want to pursue HRT, didn't mention low dose, just said I want to pursue HRT. He nodded seemingly approvingly and then asked what about SRS. Before I could even go on beyond the HRT, he cut me off and said, what about SRS? And I was like, actually no, I don't want SRS. And before I can finish my thoughts again, he cut me off and said, what about your chest? And I was like, yeah, later, but really what I want most beyond HRT is a hysterectomy. I really want a hysterectomy. And from that point on, he kept saying SRS, that exact word, SRS, repeatedly, even though I repeatedly told him that no, I don't want SRS. He conflated, I guess, a hysterectomy with SRS. He asked me who I'm attracted to, and he specifically said, are you attracted to women or men or both? Which was, for me, incredibly awkward because I was there that day sitting in his office because I am neither a woman nor a man. There are more than two genders, but he was either forgetting that or ignoring that or what the fuck ever. I didn't want to press the issue because I just wanted what I wanted and to leave. So yeah, and I didn't dare bring up the subject of asexuality with him either. So I just said, I'm bisexual, I'm bi. To which he responded with, aha, yeah, you wouldn't want SRS then because then you could do it with a woman but not a man. Ha ha ha. He thought it was the funniest thing, and I'm just sitting there fucking stunned that he even went there with that, said that. And he noticed me not saying anything, so he interpreted that as me not understanding him, so he repeated it, to which I mumbled underneath my breath that I'm not interested in sex anyway. And he was like, what? And I was like, nothing. I just am not dysphoric about my junk. I just really want the monthly hell to stop. Yeah. Very awkward moment. We talked about me pursuing top surgery and a hysto. He kept saying SRS, but a hysterectomy in Thailand in the future, and I had already had this plan, these goals in mind for myself, so it was nothing, he was not telling me anything I didn't already know, but he offered to refer me to a good hospital and to make another certificate that's good for Thailand that would allow me to get these surgeries when I am ready to pursue them. And I really appreciated that, and I appreciated it, but it was also a little alarming how excited and eager and forthcoming with this information, because yeah, I wanted it, but it was kind of like, this is standard procedure, you want to change your body, right, kind of thing. That was kind of a little red flag in the back of my mind. How would he have responded to me if I didn't already want these things? There were also some other red flags. For example, I don't think he really has an understanding of gender fluidity. He said some things that made me question whether a gender fluid person would have a good experience with him. I don't know. So yeah, gender fluid people or multi-gender, bi-gender people, I don't know, might want to exercise caution if you do visit this clinic. Actually, I'm specifically not naming the clinic itself or the doctor because I don't know if that would be good for the clinic, and my feelings about the doctor and the clinic may change with time, and so I don't want to put the information out there if I might need to retract it later. So if you are interested in going to this particular clinic or whatever, know that the guy is problematic. He's really fucking problematic. But on the other hand, he's pretty much like only option for you in Tokyo if you're not FTM or MTF and not willing or not wanting to lie. That's sad. But yeah, if you want to know the clinic's information, contact details, contact me. I will let you know. I just don't want to put it in the video. And also bear in mind that everything is in Japanese. No one at this clinic really speaks English. If you don't speak or write Japanese, you're gonna need someone's help. So yeah, exciting but really stressful times ahead for me. I will be back hopefully with another video next week talking about my actual feelings, the things that are going through my head right now leading up to starting HRT. There's a lot of stuff in my head right now, as you can guess. Anyways, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave any questions that you have, even if it's not specifically about HRT in Japan or whatever. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments or contact me through email, QueerAsCat@gmail.com. Anyways, see you next time. Bye!